The following program has been made to help you understand what satellite television and radio services the ABC is providing and what you need to do to watch and listen to them. The program will not make you an expert, nor does it provide all the answers. It's rather your introduction to satellite television and radio.
12, 11, 10, 9. We have a go for main engine start. And we have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, ABC Radio National. It's 6:30. And did you catch the Carlton Walsh report on the box last night? This is the program that
ABC National News.
All right, everybody. You ready?
Our next schools program on ABC follows in a few moments.
Take the middle, the seeds out of the Miss Riley.
Yes, well, you're on the right track, Ricky. I guess probably best to peel the apples first.
Aussat-1 is working perfectly tonight in its preliminary orbit after coming close to being a write-off. A malfunction aboard the shuttle Discovery threatened to lock the satellite in the spacecraft's cargo bay. Paul Lockyer was at Cape Canaveral.
At 9:30, the Carlton Walsh Report. Tonight on ABC.
Radio and television, which we take for granted in the city, is about to spread to the outback. What do we have to do here on the ground to receive the signals from out in space? And what exactly will be in those signals that our new satellite beams down from above? The ABC will be broadcasting television from the satellite and also 3 radio services. Eventually, there'll be a commercial television satellite service too. All these services will be beamed down to 4 separate areas called footprints.
6WF Perth, it's 3:45.
In the central footprint, the ABC will provide a Northern Territory and South Australia service.
7 on Adelaide's 5 a.m.
4QR Newsday with John Woods in Brisbane. It's 10 minutes away from 7 o'clock.
Victoria and Tasmania will share a footprint with New South Wales.
Eastern Time is 6 minutes past 6.
Of the 3 ABC satellite radio services, one will be ABC Radio National, as currently transmitted in your capital city.
This is PM. Good evening from Paul Murphy. After weeks of speculation and confidential talks between the government and the union movement, a 3.8% wage rise for Australian workers.
The satellite will also provide the national FM stereo radio service, the same as the one provided in your capital city. FM concentrates on the performing arts.
Surely there's a better place to sit than the rail of a pigsty.
I like watching pigs. They have a philosophical look to them.
May I join you?
Please. Where did you walk?
Oh, just round and about the farm. It's a magnificent property.
GC tells me it's a toy, but knowing him, I suspect it's a prop.
That's fine. Alan, slightly longer fade in at the beginning.
Right.
And this time we'll do it with effect.
Surely there's a better place to sit than the rail of a pigsty.
I like watching pigs.
Mr. Kennedy's ringing from Deniliquin in New South Wales. Good morning, Mr. Kennedy. You're through to Kerry.
Hello, Chris. How are you today?
Oh, fine, thanks. Yourself?
Beautiful day in Deniliquin.
As usual.
That's right.
The third radio service will be a new state-based regional satellite service featuring news, information, sport and music.
There'll be more news in 1 hour. You're listening to Morning Extra, broadcasting to country areas of New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland. The time, 4 minutes past 10 o'clock.
At midnight, this service will switch to rock music till dawn. The fourth ABC satellite service is television. This television service will be the same as the service currently transmitted throughout your state.
Good evening, welcome to the Queensland National.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And a typical spring day for Western Australia, generally.
It made news in South Australia today.
And in New South Wales today, mostly dry.
The benefits of these new ABC satellite services are not just for those who live in the outback. Those of us who live in the city, in areas where the reception's terrible, will be able to enjoy perfect direct satellite television and radio reception. And those of us living in country areas where there is already ABC television and usually one ABC radio station will be able to add all 3 ABC satellite radio services as well as perfect satellite TV reception.
This is McEwen. He'll score. It's a try. Eastwood not putting the man on the ground. McDonald. Muller.
23. Could be a try on here.
And this is Michael Hawker.
Yes.
Hawker.
Take 2.
Surely this will be a try to Beaumont.
Take 3.
Through an old satellite called Intelsat, some isolated outback communities had an interim ABC television service for years. Tiny little Eulo in outback Queensland has its own satellite receiving dish and television retransmitter, so the whole town can tune in to the Intelsat service. Some Intelsat television facilities were set up by the government, and others, like this one at Eulo, were privately financed.
We installed this system here a few years ago, and it's made a lot of difference to the community life. It stops the drift away from the country areas towards the city areas. Mainly that has been a problem for years with regards to TV. A lot of people like to get down to the city areas where they've got the comfort of TV. And out here it's made it generally more stable for everybody, including the local workforce as well. It keeps people more contented.
Certainly in better shape than Satoshi.
On the 18th of December, the Intelsat television service will cease. Unfortunately, the old satellite receiving equipment won't work with the new OSAT system, so different receiving equipment will need to be purchased to pick up the new range of ABC satellite services.
At the moment we're getting New South Wales programming through Intelsat. When we go onto OSAT, we'll be changing back to local programs from Queensland, which will probably be very good. We sort of look forward to a bit of local news.
Slow ships, fast money, and selling soap from space. This week, Countrywide. Good evening. There's a lot of confusion about who's going to benefit from the satellites, what the benefits will be, and at what cost. John Millard sought the reality facing the great expectations.
This is the remote area television dish for the community of Walgett in northern New South Wales. This old government dish, part of an earlier Intelsat satellite service, will soon be obsolete. Telecom is installing a new dish at government expense for Walgett, and the same for some 70 other isolated communities. But what the government won't be installing are the retransmitters needed for the new radio services. These communities will have to make their own arrangements if they decide they want the radio services straight away.
It's the people who've never received radio and television before, people who live further away from anywhere than anywhere else, who will experience the most dramatic change with the new satellite.
Well, we'd
like to see what the city people see. Otherwise, they smell the gum leaves on you when you do go to the city. Real bushy. Well, half Australia could be blown up before we knew about it.
Whether you live in the outback or a city suburb, if you want to receive the ABC satellite services, you'll need the same basic equipment. It's simple, but not that simple.
What are we going to get? We're going to get a white dish, a black box.
You're going to get a white dish with a low noise converter on the dish. This is connected to the satellite receiver, which you're calling the black box.
Yes.
To that you connect your television set.
Yes.
And your hi-fi set. The major installation is a 2-inch post in the ground.
Right.
And all the adjustments.
Will this be able to run 2 or numerous TV sets in the house?
Yes. The only proviso there is that the channel you're tuned to is the one that goes to the other televisions.
And what distance will that cover? How close?
Well, certainly...
4 miles or even...
No, if you need a distance like that, you will then need boosters and cable costs, and you are rapidly approaching the situation where you are better off with separate installations.
Yes.
So in a normal homestead situation with a married couple living on the place as well as the owners...
And they watch what you want to watch.
They've
got to watch what you choose. If you don't, I see. They can't choose their own program. They'd have to watch what the main house wanted to watch.
That is with the one satellite receiver. Yeah. You can have a situation where you may share the dish into 2 receivers, provided the cable lengths are short. But the majority of the cost is, in fact, in the receiver.
Thanks to space technology, 1985 will see the dawn of a new era in Australian communication. There are a number of ways to configure your satellite receiving system to suit your individual needs. If you live in a community, it may be cheaper not to install individual receivers, but instead get together and install a community receiving system. One satellite receiver can provide only 1 radio and 1 television channel at a time. So if you wish to retransmit more services than 1 television channel, you may need extra satellite receivers and extra transmitters. But remember, some future teletext services will not operate when television is retransmitted.
If somebody changes the channel on the television set, does that affect the radio?
Yes, it certainly does. When you switch channels in the Plessy satellite receiver with the remote control, and let's say you're switching to a commercial channel that's operating, you will then get those radio programs that are broadcast by the commercials. If you want the ABC radio all the time, and you want to watch commercial television, you are in a situation where you would need 2 receivers.
Goodness. Yeah, that's the problem.
I guess it's a situation, are you trying to listen to ABC radio and watch a commercial television at the same time?
Well, you can have a television in one part of the house and somebody with a radio in the other part of the house.
But it won't affect a radio unless it's a radio that's connected up to this.
It will only affect the radio programs coming down through this.
Can you move a radio from room to room and still pick up the radio transmission from the black box?
No, as far as your own direct service is concerned, in a homestead situation as we have here, it is fixed equipment.
To distribute radio through your house, consider having several rooms wired, or alternatively, consider having a transmitter connected to your satellite receiver, which will retransmit the station selected to any nearby radio. Next year, the ABC will be using 2 AUSAT satellites to get its services to all areas or footprints. And these footprints will overlap, so you may have a choice of ABC services. If these services come from different satellites, you'll have to choose which one you will point your dish toward.
In situations elsewhere in Australia where pointing ability is needed, we will supply dishes that can be quickly repointed. And I think as time goes on, they may become remotely controlled.
Are you standing by?
Yeah, we're standing by.
Okay, just check the levels first.
For the first few months, the ABC will be testing the new AUSAT system, and we'll continue to broadcast the 2 original Eastern and Western satellite services. But in early 1986, the new state-based programming will begin in correct local time.
Take relay.
So there you have it. ABC satellite entertainment is here. All we have to do is make a few carefully considered choices. And enjoy.
Mel said, roll to record, please.
I doubt that's the way they should be going. This robot-computer combination is still